also thank you for those of you who leave lovely comments all the time. They make my day. If this video helps you relax and or fall asleep, make sure you are subscribed and like this video. The case we are going to be reading about together today is that of the Deadpool killer, and they call him that because his name is Wade Wilson. This is one of those cases that at first you think, wow, why would someone do such a thing out of nowhere? There were no signs. How would you know if you're not gonna get attacked today by someone just randomly deciding to do this? But as you hear more about it, and as the details of his life came out during his recent trial, you see that it was not without warnings. It did not came out of the blue. He didn't just wake up on October 7, 2019 and decide to murder 2 people and try to murder 3 people, but he managed to do 2. It was not without red flags. So let's get into the details now. On October 7th, 2019, Wade Stephen Wilson murdered 2 women, Christine Milton and Diane Ruiz, in Cape Coral, Florida. Wade met Christine for the first time at Buddha, which was a nightclub, on 6th of October 2019. The next day, while she was asleep, he strangled her to death and took her car. Later that morning, he encountered Diane Ruiz while she was walking to work, and he asked her for directions. biological family gave him the name Wade. By his adoptive family's account, he was well adjusted and an active member of the family as a child. But everything changed as soon as he turned 13. His family said that he completely changed. He became paranoid, reclusive, and by Wade's own admission, he became a heavy drug user. On one occasion, he was paranoid as he felt people were watching his family and he wanted the blinds closed. On another occasion, he was paranoid that there was an entity in the garage. His father did not understand what he meant because there was nobody in the garage. Even the police were called, and they noted the same thing, that there was no one and no entity in the garage. Again, he's only 13, and at the same age, he was subject to Baker's Act because his adoptive dad found drugs. The Baker's Act is used when a person is not, they can decide for themselves and they are dangerous to themselves or the people around them. So they basically take them to the hospital, to the mental hospital for mental evaluation. And in this case, they may have found nothing wrong because he was released the next day. Throughout his schooling, he received somewhat okay grades, A's, B's, and C's, and was great at sports. As a child, he sustained multiple head injuries from playing sports, some of these resulting in a concussion. He was suspended from school for selling drugs. At age 18 and again at age 20, he sustained head injuries from car accidents, where the car he was in collided with a tree. At least one of these led to concussion. How does one person collides their car into a tree twice in the span of 2 years? Maybe because they had hit their head before in sports. I don't know. He had CT scans performed multiple times due to the various sports and car accidents. The CT scans showed nothing attack on his ex-girlfriend, he tattooed a swastika on his head and another one on his face. When asked about this in the prison phone interview, he refused to address the topic. Wade's biological father stated that at age 18, Wade reached out to him to connect, and they spoke over phone usually, and that Wade would constantly reach out only when he needed something like money. His prison mental health records notes many diagnoses, including depression, anxiety, schizoaffective disorder, which is a combination of bipolar and schizophrenia, defiance disorder, and antisocial personality disorder. Wade self-reported depression and mania in prison. He reported to Dr. Mills that he was previously diagnosed with ADD, and to the police he reported bipolar. So what? He got arrested and he started saying that I have all these things. So it's fine that I decided to murder three people today. Can you hear the bird? Let's listen to that for a couple of seconds. Just to forget about the atrocities of Wade Wilson. There was an additional incident in jail where Wade was jumped by 3 other inmates, leading to another head injury. This man's brain is a hot bowl of soup by now. During the trial, the defense presented 2 expert witnesses, Dr. Hyman Eisenstein, who is a neuropsychologist, and Dr. Mark Mills, who is a forensic psychiatrist. They conducted testing on Wade. In addition to reviewing prison mental health records, school records, CT scans, and speaking with his adoptive family, Dr. Eisenstein concluded that Wade likely has significant frontal lobe impairment, affecting executive functioning, since the frontal lobe is responsible for impulse control, organization, problem solving, emotional regulation, and motor skills. I mean, his motor skills were surely off since he kept ramming his car into trees. And the doctor also concluded there was impairment to the right side of the brain as well. Again, hot soup. Dr. Mills concluded that Wade suffered from a psychotic disorder, however, couldn't more specifically specifically defined, as Wade was uncooperative in interviewing. The prosecution contested and said that the CT scans did not show fracture or injury. They contended that he was not receiving any antipsychotic medication. Again, a lot of people suffer brain damage and injuries to their head, but they don't go out of their way to kill people in such heinous manners. I don't think this matters at all. These crimes don't seem to be caused by brain damage, but that sure did have some part in it, in shaping his life. But again, these were his own decisions that he made with his soup brain, and he has to see consequences. So the prosecution contended that he was not receiving any antipsychotic medication. Their view was that a mental health issue or brain injury cannot be used to undermine his crimes, and that his excessive and prolonged drug use can't be ruled out as responsible to the behaviors or the symptoms he exhibited. Interesting. His excessive and prolonged use can't be ruled out as responsible. So they are saying, the prosecution is saying, his symptoms could be from the drugs that he used and not because of this. Wade and his cellmate stand accused of attempting to escape from jail, stemming from an incident in 2020. Through these court records, Wade was tied to the white supremacy prison-based gang called Unforgiven. Wade stands accused of being involved in an attempt to traffic drugs into the jail, stemming from an incident in 2023. Both Ziploc bags discovered outside the prison and connected to the case tested positive for meth. While in jail, he wrote numerous letters to NBC2 for an interview. During the video interview, he stated that he was being framed for the murders by the organized crime ring he was a part of. He said this ring was responsible for human trafficking and drug trafficking. Authorities for the county said there was no evidence of any such organized crime ring. drove back and reported it to the police immediately. However, they failed to take it further. She states he originally told her his name was Stephen. She stated that a previous girlfriend of his also reported he assaulted her. However, from what I understand, the charges were dropped or didn't go further. His ex-girlfriend also stated that he dated a man after their relationship and then he stabbed him. She stated that in the beginning he was not using drugs, however, towards the end of the relationship he was. At one point she found a crack pipe at their home. In the prison phone interview, he stated that he was a father and had children, and based on this video from ex-girlfriend, he at least has one child, though others online have said he has 2 children. He admitted the killings in his original police interview to his biological father and to his ex-girlfriend Mila, but then recanted. His biological father testified against him in trial and noted Wade telling him about the killings. He said he was excited. He was wanting me to feel the same way he was feeling. He would have done it again. He is right where he belongs. In June 2024, he was convicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder. The jury recommended the death penalty. The judge will ultimately determine his sentence. On 23rd of July 2024, it will either be life in prison without parole or the death penalty. And when that verdict is in, I will let you guys know with a short video. As I do when I come across these cases, I search the name of the criminal on X, and in this case, I truly regret it, and I'm going to show you why. Here we are. Hashtag Wade Wilson. The second top post with 19 likes says save Wade Wilson. He deserves life in prison, not the death penalty. And what's this one? They just put video from the trial. He's really enjoying himself for some reason. Like he's achieved something really big. The next one again, underneath this one. Both of them have celebrity woman bio to save Wade Wilson. And here is a beautiful edit made for a murderer. What is wrong with this woman? Oh my god, alright. The next one from the same person. They say I wrote this poem for Wade Wilson. Signed the petition in my bio to save Wade from the death penalty. Of course. The next one is someone like us that says I'm not going to suffer through another year of white women defending serial killers. You two crime girlies have gone too far once again. He is not a serial killer, he would be, what would you call him? A double murderer. And this one's from a woman saying confused how stating a criminal is attractive makes me a criminal. I can't even say anything. Why would you even mention that? It's not about how he looks. He looks like a psychopath. He's smirking, sitting with his feet 5 feet apart, thinking he owns the planet because he murdered people. Why? Why does he think he's done something big? I don't understand. You should be embarrassed. You got caught for it. It's not like you got away with it. Oh, there is a picture before he got his face tattoos. And this is him in recent videos. And here's him throwing signs during court. Another one of seemingly simping woman over him. Why would you do this? I'm so confused. If I were facing death, sure as hell wouldn't sit there with the I don't give a F attitude. That's why Wade Wilson needs to be tortured, then fried like he did his victims. You sure why is he sitting like that? Does he think like that makes him a big person because he's taking a lot of space and showing us his disgusting crotch? And why? It's interesting because in Brian Kohlberger's case, the judge stopped letting the camera people take videos of him closely, and now they only allow zoom, and you can't really see his face. And he didn't make any faces ever, he was just sitting there, but he didn't like the media zooming on his face. But here is another case. They are zooming in on him, and he seems to be enjoying it pretty hard. Alright, that's it for X. Let me know what is wrong with some of these women. I mean, we know what is wrong with them, but I don't understand why they think it's acceptable to letting other people know what they think about these murderers. Maybe they think it's edgy or they're being cool. I get it. I hope he gets the death penalty. I will let you know. If you've watched this video this long, don't forget to like it and subscribe.